If Shakespeare were alive today, he'd have a Facebook page, a couple of 100 million friends, and a 10-picture deal with DreamWorks, and he'd be driving a Ferrari around Beverly Hills. And his every drunken indiscretion would cause a tempest of a global tweet storm. Instead, he was at the pinnacle of his fame 400 years ago, and we know practically nothing about him. It's very strange, because we know an awful lot about all of his contemporaries. It's said that every minute of every day, at least one of his 36-plus plays is in production somewhere in the world. Right now, perhaps in Switzerland, a Hamlet is breathing his last words. The rest is silence. On some other continent, he's still alive, uttering the most enduring line in all of literature. You all know it.
To be or not?
To be or not?
To be or not? To be or not?
To be or not?
To be or not? To be
Or not.
to be or not?
And this goes on forever. What screenwriter today wouldn't kill for such residuals? Yet there's a persistent question hanging over the identity of the author, because he left not a play, not a poem, not a page, a line in his own hand. Inconceivably, the greatest writer in the world never wrote a letter to anyone, and there's zero paper trail concerning his career or private life in London. He's a book without a face. Since doubts first started surfacing a couple of centuries ago, there have been many contending alternate candidates to be Shakespeare, including Bacon, Marlowe, Darby, even the Virgin Queen herself. Now, I'm going to introduce you to the main challenger in this World Poet Weight Championship bout, though another will surface towards the end of the game. In the green corner, to those who believe there's no mystery, the man born Gulielmus Shakespeare at Stratford-upon-Avon in 1564 wrote the greatest literary works in history. This is what we were all taught in school, and 99% of the world accepts the champ without question, because academia has systematically silenced any other point of view. Within their ivy-covered walls, it has simply been forbidden to question those who benefit from this worldwide multi-billion-dollar cash cow. Believers in the traditional view are called Stratfordians. Nothing to see here. Get over it. In the red corner, to those who smell a rat, the man born Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford at Hedingham Castle in 1550, adopted the pen name Shakespeare. He's been the leading challenger since he was first identified in 1920 by an English schoolteacher with the unfortunate name of Looney. It's really pronounced Loney, but that didn't stop the low-blow kidney punches and condescending press articles. Believers in this heretical view are called Oxfordians, and there's plenty to see here. Get used to it. Cut to the chase. This wasn't the net-flickering, what's-happening, ROFLMAO world we inhabit these days. During the Renaissance, people had two forms of entertainment, period: the taverns and the playhouses. It would be impossible to leave no trace of the most successful 25-year theatrical career in the known world. The man wrote Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Othello. Did I mention Hamlet? He was Spielberg, Oscar Wilde, Cruise, and Pitt all rolled into one. How could he just disappear? All we know for sure is the guy on the left was a minimally educated, if at all, untravelled grain dealer who sued his neighbours for pennies and was wanted for back taxes, but could never be found. No one ever reported even seeing him. When he died, supposedly the most beloved celebrity of the age, no one noticed. No eulogies, no outpourings of grief for the nation's poet laureate. The other guy, the man from the royal court, was Lord Great Chamberlain of England, a recognised poet, playwright, superbly educated, a continental traveller who fought his neighbours for real, and was wanted for all kinds of naughty things, but couldn't be found when he didn't want to be. When he supposedly died, the most famous nobleman in the realm, there again was utter silence. No breaking news from the town crier, no proclamations in the House of Lords. It simply doesn't add up. Something's rotten. But one of them, can you guess which? Left a ton of encrypted clues all over the sonnets, the plays, the Stratford Monument, the gravestone. It was painstakingly crafted, a very deliberate puzzle, perfectly choreographed, incomprehensibly clever, delightfully funny at times. Yet whoever done it was clearly doing it for significant and serious reasons, or they never would have told us they'd left actual physical proof of their game in the Holy of Holies altar stone next to where the man or his co-conspirator is buried. You don't go to these enormous lengths to create such an elegant edifice of codes on a lark. Nor would I have gone to all this trouble, risking arrest and imprisonment for covertly radar scanning the altar to get proof. Up until now, the world has only been aware of Shakespeare as the great poet-playwright known as the Bard. But you're about to witness a dazzling array of clues that prove he was far more than that. He was on a mission to deliver deep spiritual truths through Hermetic alchemy, sacred geometry, Egyptian symbolism, ancient mathematical secrets of the Great Pyramid, Freemasonic and biblical references, Hebrew and Latin gematria delivered through angel communications, numerology, prophecy, and brilliant anagram encodings. All of which leads to a stunning message of unity that can only be described as sublime. A message, I would argue, that's needed more than ever today. If there's one question I'm asked all the time at my presentations, is why is it important to me today? And you know, I'm not going to give the game away, but you will see clues that tell you over and over again something indicated as the missing eye. It's both the missing eye of the pyramid, the pyramidion on the Great Pyramid that's missing. It's the structure of the sonnets in which he mimics that Great Pyramid. It's the missing eye of the third eye of meditation and actual, well, you'll see evidence of actual pranayama practices, Vedic practices of breathing to bring the energy up the spine that brings enlightenment, and mathematics that points to the same idea of the missing one. So the I that he's referring to over and over and over again is threefold. It's a trinity. It's the I, the self, and it's the symbol of that, the one that is the ultimate prime number, one, which we, funnily enough, today don't accept as a prime number. The one number that should be a prime number, divisible by itself and one. The message to us all is the missing I that we're all looking for is the missing you. It's you. And that's what he's essentially telling us through poetry, through mathematics, through alchemy. That they're all the same. There is a mask that is Shakespeare of Stratford. There is the truth that is hidden anonymously behind that mask. And they're both the same thing. It's the truth that all great masters bring us through all great scriptures. kingdom of God is within you. You are it. Get used to it. So that's the central message. Now, as far as the game is concerned, we're in the early stages of developing an app of the Shakespeare game, and in that version, as you land on each successive square of the knight's tour, your device will automatically rack up points, just as in any good digital game, only without the guns and explosions and camouflage. We're not into that. You're actually the first to be experiencing a simplified beta test version of the eventual app. There's no bells and whistles, no fancy buttons to click on, no points you can brag about as you race to the top of the leaderboard. You're on the honor system, and you'll be given the answers whether you work them out correctly or not, because I want you to automatically pass through each level and experience the thrill of discovery just as I did. The only difference is it took me 17 years to get here. You'll be able to do it at your own pace over a few weeks, or in one mad weekend binge if you feel so inclined. You're going to be the first to experience the culmination of this intense research, and I very much welcome your input. It will help us immeasurably in our development of the ultimate app version. And so, to thank you, every fourth square you complete, you'll earn a free chapter of my new crypto novel, Under a Shakespeare Moon. Why do I call it a crypto novel? Well, you'll find out. It's a novel. It's historical truth couched in terms of cryptography. It's an espionage thriller that tells the true historical Shakespeare story from a modern perspective. It's a wild ride through secret Freemasonic fraternities and government conspiracy cover-ups in the Da Vinci Code vein, but with several important differences. Number one, all the codes Shakespeare created are real. Number two, all the characters behind the greatest cover-up in history are real. Third, and most significant of all, maybe, the ramifications for us today, royal, religious, geopolitical, spiritual, are all real. When you complete the Perfect Knight's Tour, you'll be among the first to own book one of this ongoing series before it goes to publication. I hope you enjoy it. But above all, the greatest thanks I can possibly give you is the opportunity to be present when the altar stone in Stratford is finally opened. So after completing the game, you'll be able to show your true cryptographic chops by solving a puzzle, and this one without the answer being automatically given to you. But don't worry, if you've done the whole course, it'll be impossible to get it wrong. If you've skipped a few squares, of course, well, bad karma. I'm just saying. Skip back and see the ones you missed. Solve the code, and you'll be entered into a drawing to win an all-expenses-paid trip to Stratford, England. If you're the lucky winner, we'll fly you in style to... No, not that one. There. British Airways to London Heathrow, and then a short hop to Stratford-upon-Avon, where Holy Trinity Church awaits. We'll put you up in luxurious accommodations. No, these are the thousands of other fans who have come from all over the globe to witness this moment in history. You will be staying with me and my whole Speed of Light film crew in this beautiful Ettington Hotel. And after a day to relax after your flight, you'll witness history in the making as we finally discover what the greatest author of all time left for the world and why he created the puzzle that you're about to witness. Now, I cannot predict when this event will take place. I can only say that we have a plan that we believe will ultimately guarantee the church will do the right thing and honour Shakespeare's dying wishes. The codes themselves declare what the radar scan proves. The truth is buried within that altar stone. And as the poet himself wrote, truth will out. After our celebrations, we'll fly back to London to see the sights. The Houses of Parliament, of course, Westminster Abbey, Buckingham Palace, and of course the famous Tower of London, where I shall quite possibly be escorted in through Traitor's Gate. But hey, I wouldn't be the first. So, if you want a chance to be present at the history-making event of the century, the game's afoot, and Quadrant 1 of the board will be launching very soon. Thank you.